what was the best thing that you learned from Vince, whether it's about you as a person or about life or within the business?
I'll tell you what, my most recent Vince experience was the thing that really struck me, and I think it was something I was always seeking, was like approval. You know, I never had a good relationship with my father, and I was at the Hall of Fame in New Orleans, WrestleMania 30, and the show was running long, and those things run long. But having been aware, you know, crucially aware that the fans, the people who are sitting in the very front are there because they have to be there.
Right.
They don't want to be there. They're there for the reason all those people are in town, for WrestleMania, the following day. So knowing that, I'm not going to just go out and go on and on and on like some guys did before me.
Right.
To the point where Mr. T went so long they had to come and cut him off.
Yeah.
And you know, and he was so embarrassed, and it was brutal, and it was, you know. So I remember looking at Kev going, hey. So our whole segment was like 8 minutes, and part of me went, well, I'm going to go out there and remind the people why they liked me in the first place.
Right.
Be funny, be cool, get out of there. And when I came back, and I could have went on and on and on.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to. And when I came back through, I remember I went to Vince, hey, thanks for this, Vince. And he hugged me and went, I love you. And that meant a lot to me.
Right.
You know, it really meant a lot to me because I think he looked at how I was looking at the big picture going, oh, I get it. Let's wrap this. I mean, if I was there when Vince was sending Kane out to cut Mr. T off, and he doesn't want to do it.
Right.
You know, he doesn't want to do it. And for me, that was my Vince moment. Like, hey, I love you.
Let's end on this note. This ain't a blow smoke up Vince's ass moment. All the guys that really had a run there, that really put in some time and got a chance to know the man, you know, and I've loved him and I've hated him, and I respect the hell out of him. I love the guy. Yeah. I mean, I would think that you do too.
Yeah. He's been so good to me. You got to remember now, I'm the guy who left.
I know.
I'm the guy who left, and then had I left and not been successful, maybe it'd been different.
Right.
Leaving, then being successful. And Vince took it personally because he was personally involved in my career.
Right.
You know, a lot of it was his idea.
Yeah.
And so for me to leave, but now I didn't just leave. I gave you notice 90 days in advance, and you never sold it. You didn't want to talk. And,
right.
You know, I gave my notice. I got suspended for a drug test. It was 6 weeks old.
Right.
Like, oh, I get it. You got my telegram.
Right.
And it was like he really took it personally, and which made me feel like, well, wow, I made the right decision. This is the way you're treating me. Like, instead of, hey, come in and talk.
And with that being said, our love for Vince McMahon, wasn't he the greatest poker player of all time? You tell me.
I don't know if we're playing poker or go fish. Like, you got any jokers? Go fish. You know, like, I'm not sure what we're playing, but he's usually winning, and he's definitely dealing.
Yeah.
And he's holding all the cards, and you can't beat the house.
Yeah. Well, hell, man, I enjoyed the conversation.
Thanks,
and then
Steve.
again, I'm glad you're in such a good place right now. And God dang, from what I saw at the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts, which was an incredible documentary, you seem to be light years away. Are you good right now?
I mean, what time is it? I haven't drank so far today.
Right. Is the urge that strong still?
It comes and goes. I'm amazed that it still comes. And so as a backup, when I know I'm going to be in a high-risk situation, I take the antabuse. You know, but, and I mean, I remember when Dallas first invited me to come and join he and Jake here in Atlanta, and then he said, oh, you know, we're filming this movie, and now we're going to add and Scott Hall. And I went, you know, having tried and been unsuccessful in attempts prior to that, and being such a big mark for Jake, going, I don't want to bogey his thing, you know, let him do his thing. If I'm in it, cool, you know, but I just was worried about trying to save my life. Right. And then it ended up like you couldn't have scripted it better. We both went in the Hall of Fame at the same class, and both, you know, doing, you know, making better decisions now. And there was cameras around everywhere, you know. So I guess, you know, I've only seen the movie twice, and it was really hard to see.
I watched it about 2 weeks ago, and through several parts of it, and I had tears in my eyes. One time I was watching part of it in bed, my wife looks at me, I got a tear running down my face. It was like the triple lock up at the end was like off the charts.
Bring a tear to a glass eye.
Dude, I marked that big time. Yeah, it did. It did.
Bring a tear to a glass eye, make a fat baby poop.
It's just like I told Jake. I mean, it was just like 3 grizzled veterans who traveled the world 6 times over, and then boom, it's the friendship and the bond and the journey. You know, Dallas led the charge, and you guys jumped on. And I mean, dude, you can have a guy helping you, but you got to want to do something yourself.
Yeah, you got to want to.
Dude, when I see you now with color in your face and starting to look jacked up again from man, from what I used to see you as Big Scott Hall or Razor, just chiseled that physique, and I saw you at the beginning, I think just ashen white. Yeah. It hurt me. So it's good to see you now ambling around, because I know you walk back and forth here, and you do a lot of walking with you.
Yeah, man.
So it's good to see you in a good place, and at this time, let's ride off into sunset.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're in a good spot.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
At this stage in your career, and we're coming up to WCW, but now as you're coming up into business, what is your education process as far as learning how and what you need to be paid? Friend who took you.
Oh, I remember looking at that check.
He left.
That's the one he left on. I'm going, whoa.
Okay.
It was like $7,000, and I went, whoa.
Okay, so when
this
did
is
you start?
80s.
Yeah.
$7,000 on road trips.
Right. So when did you start learning about that process? Because back in the day, I started learning what the houses were, where I was on the card, putting all the pieces together. Right. And you came in. That's when the big money era happened. Right. So when did you start putting the pieces together as far as?
I guess I remember I was first drawn to wrestling because I just liked the lifestyle. I just thought it was so cool that you get to do this, and you got your days free to work out. You work at night. It's kind of cool. People put you over. You're on TV.
Plus, it's the coolest job in the world.
It is the best job in the world. And so I was always drawn to that. Then, don't get me wrong. Then I just wanted to be Dusty. I just wanted to be Barry Windham. I just wanted to be over in Florida so maybe I could meet chicks. Now.
And that's as far as it went.
I had no idea. I just wanted to be over in my hometown. And then, don't get me wrong. I was all about going global and everything and being huge. And I remember the first time I got a doll, I thought, heck, I can retire. Like, I made it.
Right.
And I never really was concerned about money. I remember leaving, I was shooting vignettes with Vince for the Razor character, and he left TV and personally directed him in South Beach. And I know this is good, but I know from being around Kurt to be humble, bumble as could be.
Right.
I'm just being humble, bumble. But then when I hit that curtain, I'm doing my thing. Right. And then when I come back through, I'm not doing, was that okay? Like Kurt said, when you come through, you come straight to me. Right. Don't ask people, was that okay? Was that okay? Yeah. He goes, come straight to me. Walk through like you knew it was okay. If somebody says, hey, good, say thank you, but come straight to me. Like, don't be walking around going, Yeah, just boom. And I remember, it started raining, as it will do down that part of the country. And so we go through the airport, and we're in the car on the way to the airport, and Vince is loving the gimmick, because he's never seen Scarface.
Right.
And I'm just ripping off Scarface, and Vince is laughing, he's loving it. And he tells me to, speak really slowly. He goes, there's a difference between commanding attention and demanding attention. Like, he's really involved with the development of this character, which is great for me. And now we're on the way to the airport, and he's laughing. He goes, you're going to make a lot of money. And my first thought, having been around a little bit, is, would you put that in writing? But I said, thanks, Vince. I said, I don't have to have the most. I just want a lot. And he popped. And he goes, you're going to get it. And I'm thinking, things are good. Things are good. I realized there was a time when I would look at the houses and the way business was going. Now, I was there, and you were there for the tail end of it, all through the steroid trial, which was sapping resources from Vince, through the IcoPro era, through the WBF.
Yep.
Now, who's the backbone of all this stuff?
You guys were weathering that storm.
Guys on the road.
Yeah.
So houses were coming up, and business is dead. That steroid scandal hurt business.
Right.
I was actually being prepped as a witness for Vince by Jerry McDevitt for the steroid scandal because I was more successful off the roids.
Right.
They were going to call me for it. They never did, but I was prepped for it.
Right. That conversation with Vince is incredible that he would say that to you.
Yeah,
because, dude, a light goes off in your head. One time we were filming a vignette, and when I first started becoming Stone Cold, and it was myself and Vince and a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. We're waiting at a gate. It's just a pipe gate with a chain on it, waiting for someone to unlock it. I'm going to throw a belt off something or do something. So we're sitting there. It's Vince and me. It's uncomfortable silence because we don't really know each other, dude. I've been working there 7-8 months, but, he's the boss, I'm the dude. And I'm not really, over yet. So, out of the blue, he just says, Steve, as a promoter, you never want a talent to know what they're worth. And he just said that out of the dead silence, and I was like, bam. Okay, it's not just with wrestling, Scott. It's in life. You want to pay someone as little as you can pay them. Any job done. But when he said that to me with respect to the business, okay, now I got to learn how to work the system. No, but that being said, that conversation he had with you, just that exchange, because he was so caught up in the character. And he said, you're going to make a lot of money out of the blue. And then you jumped on that and says, well, as long as it's a lot. Yeah. What was it like walking back in the doors of WWF?
That era?
Yeah, because I was starting to get hot. I was hot.
Yeah, you were ready.
You guys come in, dude, but I'm running too hard. I'm not top of my game. When y'all came back in, did you feel welcome? Did you feel like you're back home? Did you?
No, I mean,
it
felt like, I mean, there were some guys there, but it was like overwhelmingly the mood was, what are these guys doing here? These guys they're them. We finally beat them. Now they're back, and then you don't come back and then right in the top spot too. Like, well, you know. So anytime you're on top, there's heat, and then I felt uncomfortable there. You know, like, wow, we're the enemy. Like, you know, it felt weird.
Right. Man, I always felt bad about working that angle with you because at the time you were taking antabuse.
Yeah.
And half my gimmick was beer.
Right.
And so you were getting beer all over you.
Yeah.
And that affected you.
Yeah, it was. I remember one time late at night we shot some stuff where you'd take me to a chair and stuff like that and spun me around. I felt we were in a beer cooler and it was getting on my skin. I was like, ugh, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, it was what it was. You know, I knew I was getting a great opportunity there, and I didn't want to blow it.
Yeah, but you know, it was a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity for me too. But man, I was about fried at that time, and it was about time I rode off into the sunset.
Right.
I think I took a little bit of a hiatus after we worked at Mania at 18 in Canada. That match was what it was, but man, you didn't get the best of me. I don't think I got the best of you.
No,
I got to say that straight up.
I appreciate
it, bro.
Zone. Yeah, I mean, I think we both were going through some things outside the ring that weren't that great, you know. And I think everything happens for a reason. I mean, like we joked about the other day on the phone, like, heck, we talk more now, we get along better now than we did when we were working together.
Right.
I didn't know you didn't know me, you know.
Right.
I remember, I'll never forget somewhere, in the matches at first, we were struggling. And I remember sitting somewhere, we're on the road, and Kev was there. Now, Kev was just standing on the outside.
Right.
And he wasn't doing anything. And I remember one time I was eating with Triple H and Kev and there, and I'm thinking, I looked at him, I said, you got to start helping, you big fuck. Start helping. I said, you know Steve. I don't know him at all. I said, I don't want people thinking I don't know how to work.
Right.
And I remember, I felt so good because Hunter's on the other side of the table. He went, don't worry, people know you know. He goes, a lot of what I learned from you. Because I remember thinking, like, whoa, like, no, Austin, Hall, this would be great. And it wasn't great at first.
Yeah.
But I think what we did at Mania is what it was. You know, I mean, we used a lot of gimmicky stuff, multiple finishes, and the ref runs in. And it was kind of like what Hunter did at Mania, like bring the guys out.
Right. No, yeah, but that was set up. That was orchestrated real nice. Again, my head was in a different space. But now that you're pretty much out of the business, you go into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you.